All right, everybody. Welcome back to Who's Your Band. I am Jeffrey Paul. I am joined by Sean Morton. How are you, Sean?
Jeff, I'm going to tell you right now, this is either going to be my favorite episode that we've ever done, or this is going to be my final episode. I don't know whether it's going to be. It can't be anything in the middle. It
This
can't
is
be.
this is has the potential to be a wild one, that's for sure.
Yes.
But before
Yes.
we do that, just let's talk for a second.
Sure.
Shows. Any
Yes.
shows? Have you seen show? And we haven't done this in 2 weeks. We had to take off last week.
Yep.
Lot going on. Lot going on.
Yep.
Um,
Same here.
Curious, have you seen anything?
No, I have not. And then we are. I think my next concert is not until May 18th. I think
Who
we're
are you
going
going?
to
Who's
see
that?
Clutch at Starland Ballroom.
Well, that's going to be a good show. Clutch is
Yeah,
still
and they
in with
just
the.
announced another great show. I guarantee you that you're going to come to this show. It's Extreme and Living Color
Oh, I saw that. I
are touring
saw
together.
that, man. Yeah, and
It's a big tour, so I'm definitely going to go to that.
funny thing, I just reconnected a little bit with Corey Glover. Uh, I worked with him back in the '80s when they were opening up for the Stones, and he's in town to do Chilla.
Yeah,
And we just have a mutual friend, so we got to like talk the other day.
nice.
And yeah, that was really cool. He was telling me about that. They're excited. He what's his name, Vernon Reed,
Yeah,
Staten Island guy. He's all excited about it too, so it should be really good. I got to see a show last week that
we'll just see.
last minute thing. I went to go see Mark Farner from Grand Funk.
Okay.
He's the main guy from the voice of Grand Funk, and the Smithereens. And
Ah, nice. Okay.
yeah, and the deal with the Smithereens is they lost their singer a few years ago, and they have interchangeable singers. And primarily it's Robin Wilson from the Gin Blossoms, who I saw that night,
Hmm.
and Marshall Crenshaw.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, for a guy who's in his 70s, Mark Farner looks great, sounds great, moves great. You know, you don't realize how many recognizable and like classic songs that Grand Funk had.
Great band. I bought Grand Funk Railroad Live for like $2, and that's a solid record.
Solid record,
Yeah.
well worth it. And like they hear like a line, like see them live doing "I'm Your Captain." That was excellent. That was so much better than I thought it was going to be. And then the Smithereens come on, and they are just a straight ahead four-piece rock band.
Yep.
That is it. There's no frills with them. There's nothing. They're not trying out there to impress. They just have great rock pop songs.
And you know what the weird thing was about them is they really only had one major hit.
What, Blood and Roses?
No, A Girl Like You.
See, I would think it would be Blood and Roses was the song that broke them. I think their best song was Behind the Walls of Sleep. And then A Girl Like You, Top of the Pops. Those were got pretty big
A
radio
Girl
airplay.
Like You was a top 10 song, I believe.
I
Like
don't know if they had anything in
I
the top
think it
10.
was I think that made the top. I'm gonna Google that while we're waiting for our guest to
Yeah.
ram his hand up a puppet's ass.
Yeah. But it was interesting to hear someone else. I mean, Robin Wilson's range is not the same as Pat D'Annunzio.
No, it's a very different sound.
It
Very,
is a
very different sound.
he's higher. He doesn't have the power that Pat had, and Pat had not a gravel, but he had a rawness to his voice that was just so unique and just so like soulful for those songs. And
It peaked at number two
A
on
Girl
Billboard.
Like You was
On
number two.
It peaked at Bill on Billboard's mainstream rock chart, and then number three on their modern rock chart. It was actually not a top 10 hit on the Hot 100, but it was a top 40 hit. It hit number 38.
Okay, yeah, I
That's a
knew
big hit if you think about it.
it's and you make anyone's top 40, you're successful. But their albums are at least that first, actually, I would say more than probably that first four albums always have something big on it. Always had something that caught like your ear and always had good radio airplay. And the best thing about this Smithereens, like I always say, if you didn't like it, the song was over real quick.
Simple 3.5 minute rock songs. You're not going to get a 19-minute rock opera. You know what I mean? It's that's what I love. It's just straight up rock and roll, and there's no frills about it. There's no deep, gotta look for the meaning in the chorus. And no, you don't have to do any of that.
You don't like that?
No, I'm not into that whole, transcension fucking let me just take some ayahuasca, listen to Yes. Shut up. No, give me a rock and roll song. That's what I want to hear.
I like song with meaning, man.
I don't care about the meaning. No. I don't care if a song has meaning. I love that. But it's it's just it's pretentious a lot of times, those stupid songs. They're just really pretentious. I think that's the best word I could describe it with.
Yeah, well, I gotta tell you, there is absolutely zero pretension when it comes to the Smithereens.
Right.
Black t-shirts, jeans, and they just get up there and play.
That's why I love System of a Down live, because even though they're a little more eclectic and weird, but when you go see them, you're getting a 2.5 hour set from them, and they're playing about 38 to 41 songs because they don't talk in between. It's just boom, 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 hit, all 3 to 4 minutes long.
See, they talk in between, but this is the best. I've never seen a band do this. Okay, after the show, good night. They don't go backstage. They walk off the stage. They hang out in front, and then as we were leaving, they're hanging out in the lobby.
That's cool.
So I wound up getting the drum head, and I got everyone in the band to sign the drum head. And then I got to hang out and talk with Robin Wilson a little bit.
Nice. You should have got him on the show.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I'm actually going to be, for 101.5 FM, I'm going to be interviewing them alone, but it's not going to be Robin Wilson who's singing. It's going to be Marshall Crenshaw who's going to be doing the vocals. Who also has kind of like a little out of that range.
Yeah, a little bit. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, the night before they were playing Daryl's place, and this past week I just did Daryl's place.
Yeah, that's a cool gig. I'm glad you got that one.
Yes, thank you. It's really cool. Speaking of that, the sound engineer, the guy who does the sound for all the shows, he's also the sound engineer on the Hall & Oates albums. And we hung out and spoke for a while, and he agreed to come on the show. So him we're gonna have.
That's cool.
Okay. In fact, as soon as I'm done with this, I actually have to email him, and we're gonna set something up, because we were talking music and I kept saying, listen, we got to save this because I got to get you on it. He's like, sure, he would love to do it.
That's cool.
I mean, he's just like guy our age, totally into music, but just happens to produce all the Hall & Oates album. Like, it was after Bob Clearmountain, this guy came in and was the sound engineer, and we'll find out more about him when we're done, when we have him on. But in the meantime, we are going to introduce our guest. This guy, he has been in show business for over 30 years. He started when he was like 11 years old. Okay. And he has a real interesting story to tell us. He is not only a comedian, he is a ventriloquist, he is a magician, and it's our pleasure to welcome to the show the one and only Gemini. How are you, John?
How you doing? Who's there with you?
That's Sean Morton.
That's the one guy he never remembers when he works with me. That guy. Every time he can't remember. Why you don't remember me, Sean?
I work with so many. You know what it is? I work with so many comics who bring dubs with them to gigs. So it's kind of.
Oh my God! Could you name like 2?
No.
Okay.
One is enough.
All right. Yes, it is.
One is enough.
Thank you.
Yes, I can name 2. Tommy Gooch is one, and Ken Krantz is the other.
Tommy Gooch doesn't have birds.
No, he just started putting them in his act.
That's maybe a cockatoo. Yeah, sure. Bullshit.
Speaking of a cockatoo, how you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. Thank you for having me on your.
It's our pleasure, man.
On the show with you. Where am I supposed to look?
You're doing it.
Oh.
Just look into your computer screen and you're fine to go. You look very dignified. So you got started when you were 11?
No. I did back in school something called show and tell. And that's what I did was ventriloquism. I don't know how to really kind of tell you. I got a very large tongue and I could mouth out the words without, you know, bothering switching letters and all this bullshit. I could do it. And my puppets are cool. Like they come alive. So you more are looking at them.
Well, I saw you recently. You performed at the Parks Casino Hotel, and you destroyed that crowd. I mean, they loved you, and you're right. You know, it's like it's not a fucking puppet talking, but the back and forth with the puppet, it seems real.
It is weird a little bit. It really is. You know what I mean? You know what I did the other day? I went and I had the puppet just on the stand, and these people were like almost like they were scared of it. So I said, "Look, it does something. I just found it. There's a little button on the bottom, the button on the bottom. He could get off the stand by himself and walk over to the first row. Ma'am, could you please move? Just move over a little bit. That's where the pup is programmed to walk. He walks over there and he talks. You ready, everybody?" And the woman moves and the audience is silent. I make like I'm pushing the button. Could you imagine if that was really what would happen? The puppet get off of the stand.
That would freak me out.
I just want both of you to know I am not high enough for this fucking episode.
wait till he breaks out the puppet.
Wait, let's see. I got one.
Yeah, John, is it hard doing ventriloquism?
You know, I'm going to say it matters if you can get yourself to believe that what you have in your hand or what you're operating is real and it has a personality. Whether you make that personality funny or religious or you want to be a teacher with that personality, that's up to you. Mine are of people that I've met in my life, people you meet every day. I lost a lot of friends because I made puppets of them without really asking, and I have some of them with me.
How many puppets do you have?
I have 42.
Oh my God. So and each one has a distinct personality.
Well, no. There's I purchased a lot of puppets, like there is we did a show that was called Studio at the Hill. And it made it to Google online and the whole bullshit. But we did it during COVID and it was a kid show. There's no live children's shows anymore. It's all cartoons. And we thought it would be nice, to put together a child's show, but from a street point of view. You had Mr. Rogers. I was like Mr. Rogers on speed. I mean, and it was fun. We got a lot of nice calls and, we had teachers on, police, and then we had, it was during the COVID. So everybody got to talk to mayor, what I mean? They all came on the show, which was nice. It was,
where was this show?
It was called Studio at the Hill. You could just put it, www.studioatthehill.
No, I was gonna say, where would people be able to find it?
It's on the just go www.studioatthehill.com.
Okay, so it's like a web series.
Yeah, no, it's on the computer stuff.
It's a computer show. Sure, it's a computer show.
I have to just tell the people here, before we went live, I had the privilege and honor of watching Jeffrey and John try to install Zoom on John's computer. And what it was basically like was watching two legless fucking Ethiopians trying to run down the street after a donut. That's the only way I can describe it. It was
but he's here. We got him.
I will never get those moments of my life back.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did. You're not the only person that said that to me. You know,
So you got one of your puppets with you, right?
I brought one woman. So for the people that know, ventriloquism, being real with this, is is the art of throwing your voice. Now, I started in New York City, like Central Park is where I really
And how old were you when you started?
um at 19, 18,
And
18.
what made you go do it there? And what? And you weren't scared. You weren't afraid. Like, oh, this is awkward. This is embarrassing. You know, you just went out with a puppet, stood in the middle of Central Park, and just started doing an act.
I, okay, when you put it like that, it does sound a little weird, but okay. I was in a union. I worked for ABC. Well, so they paid for all my college through the union. NABIT it was called, and I dragged around cables for One Life to Live, and but we would go on strike all the time going on strike. It was during the Olympics, the first time, the bombings, and they were going on strike constantly. I was making great money as a kid, paying for my school. It was so stupid, but we would go by the rat. People would throw shit at you. You know what I mean? And all of the marches were done by bars. You know what I mean? So you march, for an hour, and then you drink for 2 hours, and then you march for an hour, and then you drink for 3 hours now, and then you march, and now you're not marching, you're singing, and then people, it was horrible. After a month and change of this, the guy that does all the electricity for the Central Park, all the big, when the big rock stars came in, he was the guy drunk on the floor. He was part of the union, part of the sound guy, drunk. I put these two together, and I promised them we could go pick up girls in Central Park. And they said, how could you do? I said, I need sound and I need lights, and I'll get you women will come walking over. And we made a bet. And I brought a black puppet. They had the sound, they had the lights, and I had a black puppet that's I don't have with me right now. I can tell you, he got hurt a little bit, and I have a different one that was made of a kid that was this kid used to hang with me when we were kids. See, these are made by artists, and you have to give pictures of what who the
Give an
person
idea
is.
of what you want.
So that you see, the whole thing with these puppets it's the personality. How can you get, like, if Sean, if I was to do a puppet, like of you,
Mhm.
it would be pretty good.
It's angry.
I would have the hands like be a little bit like,
Yeah, a little
as,
angry.
I have a Sean puppet.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Yeah,
it's Grimace from McDonald's, but I have it. I use it sometimes.
I'm gonna show you what. I'm sorry. Why did you two are not good friends?
No, that's a sad thing. We are.
We're very good friends. That's the thing. That's unfortunately that's the problem here.
Yeah. We go to concerts, we hang out. Yeah. But,
I didn't know.
Thank you so much for this, by the way. So much.
That was my pleasure.
Okay.
All right, so here we go. How much do these puppets cost?
This one was I don't know, $4 or $5 grand.
Oh, wow, this is a kind of an investment. Wow.
I don't know.
I saw this at the show. This puppet was great.
Wait, yeah, I can show you how some of them work. Watch it. It moves. Each part moves separately. It's made of wood. I don't know if you can see. It's made of wood. But each part moves separately. Like, watch, move one at a time. I don't know if I could get it closer. Okay, that's one.
I guess was there like a button in there that you're hitting?
No, they're leverage. Watch this one. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay, here's one you're not going to even really believe, but when I put it all together, it looks like he's alive. I know it's fucked up. Watch this one. See if you see it. You see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
it
this is
mean
going to be really
right?
great on Spotify. Anyway.
Yeah. it doesn't mean anything, but you can make it happy. Like we laugh and we telling shit, and then all of a sudden he could lose his mind. He'd be like,
Yeah, and and you got the eyebrows raised, so
I know.
it has like expression. So how long does it take you to learn how to really be able to manipulate the puppet, throw your voice, and then to have it like interact with you?
I don't know. I don't know that answer. What do you mean in
All right,
detail?
let's break it down. How long did it take you to learn how to manipulate that puppet? To be able to like have it react. So yours, because you're doing it, and when I saw you do the show, I mean it's smooth as silk. So how long does it take you to kind of really perfect being able to manipulate the puppet?
Okay. I learned from a vaudeville guy named Stanley Burns. You can look it up. He was a vaudeville ventriloquist, old Jewish guy. I met him, and I wanted to be a ventriloquist. I don't know how weird that is, and but the puppets, I couldn't get them to. It would like sit there, and I would just go. And so, what are you doing today? I'm not doing nothing, and it was stupid shit. I didn't, it wasn't alive. I was trying to get the funny out of the humor of the jokes, me and him back and forth. But they didn't weren't alive, and this guy was trying to get me to, bring them out. But he says, look, your style of ventriloquism, not moving your lips, I guess, whatever. You're excellent, but you don't think the puppet's real. And I said, Stanley, nothing for nothing, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It's a piece of wood. It's not really, it's not real, man. You know what I'm saying? He goes, until you can believe that he is real, the audience will never believe he's real. You understand?
Yeah.
So I go, how do you do that? How do you make that? I'm not an actor or nothing, And he says, you got to take it with you 1 month, every fucking way you go, everywhere you go, everywhere you go. So I everywhere, took him to Macy's. We bought shoes. We got Sears, and my friends liked it in the beginning because in the bar,
How did people react to that?
but they would like laugh because I was like, it was being a little funny. You know what I mean? You're one on one. That's all. You're learning how he reacts. You know what I mean? And how does he react to
Right.
people? You know what I mean? He's becoming a little. My friends loved it in the beginning because the girls would come over. We would like, show us your tits. You could say things, and I can't believe the puppet said that.
Right.
Say that. You know what I mean? She's not gonna do that. Yeah, she will. No, she won't. Give her $10. Will you stop? We can't do that. I will.
To this day, Johnny, my favorite joke that I've ever heard another comic do live that I've worked with was Vince D'Antona. And Vince was, definitely my favorite ventriloquist of all time. Yeah, he's definitely my favorite. And I would say, just the nicest person in the world, And the joke would be where George would say to him, I had to go to the doctor. Yeah, what's the matter? It's embarrassing. Well, what is it? Every time I sneeze, I have an orgasm. Well, what did the doctor give you for it? Pepper. I've worked with 1,000 comics. That's my favorite joke I have ever seen live, and it always will be.
He was, he was, his story, man. He, as a ventriloquist, when he became a vent, they were, he was a short, small man. They would put him in the foxholes, and he would go through, and he started talking to himself, and that's how he got that.
Yeah, he was an army vet for a long time.
Yeah. And then he had a radio show that was kind of cool. I'm sorry for his passing. I saw just before COVID, his wife came out and saw one of my shows out
That's
in
cool.
Rhode Island, and that was, it was very nice. She came out and said,
Yeah, the best thing I think with working with the ventriloquism is that you can work a really broad range of type of rooms and shows. You could do adult shows like at the casino, and I'm sure you do tons of children's shows as well.
Yes, of course. Do you want to see how it works and comes alive?
Yeah.
I mean, just to see it, see, when I do this, this looks a lot like the kid that I would hang with, you know. But if you, kind of watch him a little bit, he's he can really be pretty precise on how, like he can make like all of a sudden he was sleeping, and then all of a sudden he just wakes up.
Makes for great radio.
Does he have a name?
This is Sonny. Sonny.
Okay, Sonny. So if I'm gonna let me interview Sonny for a second. It's like, hey,
Sure.
Sonny, how did you meet Gemini?
He said, how did you meet me? Meet who? Meet me when you first met me. Oh my God, that was a bad day. I know. Oh my God, don't bring it up. No, just it was bad. Don't say nothing. I'm not saying anything. He's the one that asked.
I mean, for those who are watching this on YouTube, I mean,
Yeah.
it really does look like a back and forth, doesn't it, Sean?
Yeah, it's great for the ones who are listening on like Apple Podcasts and iHeartRadio and Spotify, the ones where we get the real numbers from. That's what it sounds great there too.
Well, I mean, you got to come and look at this on YouTube. It's especially when we have like a guest like this with so visual. I mean,
it's a low talker to begin with.
Yeah. Well, Sonny, why are you such a low talker?
What did he say? He said, "Why are you such a low talker? Low
Like a low talker."
Because he's holding my balls. Just stop. He's not. Stop. Just stop.
Yeah. This would have a hard time translating over into Spotify. I could see that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
So maybe we can't do it. No, man. Just because I'm black. No, stop. Just stop. I can't do this on Spotify. Can't do it.
I gotta say, man, it's so cool.
I could do this.
The back and forth of it. Look, he just took the head off. He just took the head off of Sonny.
You see that? And look, they're signed by the artist. They engrave it. You see that?
That's cool though. Well, it's got to be like their signature on a painting,
But
it is a piece of art.
See, this one is art. A certain, like, see them all. I don't know if you can see all of the different ones.
Oh, those are the levers.
Yeah,
okay,
they're levers.
Cool.
You understand? Like I was showing you, they're all levers, and each one does a different thing, which you're trying to. That's why my hand is like fucking wrapped around this.
But when you're doing it, though, it really is very, very smooth. And that's what I'm thinking. It's got to take a lot of practice, almost like playing an instrument, to be able to like really perfect that.
Yeah. I mean, you really gotta. And what's really wacky is there's no standard making the sculptures or the puppets. There's no standard. So some people, if I showed you one of these, 10 puppets that look awesome, beautiful puppets, but if they're all made by different people, that means all the mechanisms move differently. You know what I mean? So when one might be a thumb movement for the mouth, and you practiced your whole life using a finger. Now you got to move a thumb where the thumb used to be for something else. And it's. I know it doesn't. Maybe I shouldn't tell everybody that. I don't know.
No. Listen, it's great. It's something that's I'm sure people don't realize. Number one, but Jeff Dunham just made his own 3D printer to make his puppets. So why don't you just get one? And it's only like $1 million. Just buy one of those, and that way you can make them all the same way. So all the puppets move the same way.
Did you watch his movie? He made his own helicopter to go fly. How great is that?
Johnny, one of my favorite comedy stories, and I don't know if I ever told you this, was how you have that great weekend of gigs and you're happy, right? So I headlined the Comedy Works in Bristol, Pennsylvania. And we sold out both nights. It was like 100, 120 people for that place. That's big, right? So I was in great mood. And then I got a chance on that Monday to go see Jeff Dunham at the Prudential Center. So now here is what my thinking was. My thinking was I just sold out 125 seats in Bristol, right? So what is he going to do at the Continental? I'm like, well, he's a ventriloquist. He's not going to be able to do the whole thing. So they'll have probably curtain off half the arena. And maybe they'll do the floor in the first section. So like in my head, I'm doing the math and going, that's probably like 19.5 with the seating. This will probably be about 5,000-6,000. That's a great sellout for Jeff Dunham. 5,000-6,000 seats. I walked into the suite and there was 19 fucking thousand tickets sold. It was sold out beyond anything I had ever seen at the Prudential Center. And I'm telling you, he started at 8 o'clock and he had them in his hand until 10:45 when he stopped the show, and it never stopped.
Isn't that awesome?
It was a great
awesome?
experience, because I remember seeing him doing like Bananas, these small little places, 25 years ago before I was a comic, and now you see that. It's unreal.
He had that puppet Peanut is made. I have some of the puppets made by the same artist, where that artist, she was one of the first that made certain puppets down in Florida. And we would go to the classes, and him and I were in the same classes hanging out. He was making peanut dolls, that's how he learned how to do the other thing. And I was making like Italian puppets and stuff. I mean, next time, if you have me, I could show you, thing I didn't know. But, it's been a long time, and the puppets, when you have a good puppet maker, you know what I mean? You know who has some awesome puppets? That guy, John Peasy. Did you ever, get him? Oh my God. He has some puppets you walk in that he doesn't even use, and you just pick them up. They're talking without you. You know what I mean? They already have the personality.
What is it about ventriloquists that make you all a little fucking weird in your own way?
You are so right.
Obviously everybody's looking at you. They know that you're well put together, but everybody knows that you're a little touched. It's okay. And John Peasy is a great ventriloquist, but he looks like your lesbian aunt. Let's just be honest, right?
Oh, lesbian aunt.
Yeah, look at his hair.
He has frosted hair.
Frosted tips, know. Yeah, he looks like a little bit of a lesbian.
He looks like a lesbian aunt from the 90s.
It's very true. Look at Otto. Look how crazy Otto was.
And yep, and he just what just happened wasn't his death was just happened a week ago.
It was the anniversary. Yeah, I think it was 8 or 9 years ago.
Anniversary. Yeah, that was a sad day.
That was. What's your favorite Otto story? Since we're all comics, somebody has to have a favorite Otto story.
I have many, like many ones, but I don't know, like good or bad. I don't want to make it sound bad because some of them are bad. No. He worked the street. When I was on the street, I was at Central Park West, like the park that was over there. He was down at the lower end by Columbus and stuff. And
at the same time?
Before that, he rode the Staten Island ferry and would try to get money doing the hat thing on the ferry with his. Do you know Joey? Who's the guy? Novick. Do you know that he was his camp counselor when he was a little kid? Was Joey Novick? I don't know if everybody doesn't know.
Yeah, Joey Novick was also Noah's camp counselor when he was a kid.
I can't tell you. He told me stories with Otto. Sometimes I know you guys could make a little fun with this, but sometimes it's a channel to get the other person out of your head or out of you. He was a shy child that Otto was. I never knew him. I knew him in his craziness. You know what I mean? I mean, but he would always, he said to me every time, you know what I mean? And he would look at me and didn't want to hang out. And then he'd come over, how you doing, Gemini? You want to do something? And as soon as we would do like a line, he became the nicest guy all of a sudden. And he would just say, you know what I mean? John, you're the only ventriloquist I like. And then he would tell me how much he hated ventriloquists and stuff like that.
Yeah, we all did.
You like me now because I had the lines. You know what I mean?
But you're also not just a ventriloquist. You also do magic.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And comedy. It's a trifecta.
Yes.
Yeah, but I got to say, when you go to a Gemini show, it's a really entertaining show. I mean, the time just goes by. When I used to book Comedy on the Stars, you were the one of the few guys they said, we want this guy back every year, and the crowds would come out to see it. They loved you because it was just total entertainment.
But thank you. I just wanted to say, thank you very much. I really, I don't know what it is, but I try to look at it from the audience's point of view. When you see a show or a performance and it's comedy, I mean, I'm not really that guy that knocks on people. I try to take it for a little ride, and I take it to the, different puppets and that type of shit and magic. What kind of stupid shit is that? But it's street magic. So it just works right there in front. Bang. One thing turns into something else.
If you had to, can you just do a complete show of ventriloquism, a complete show of magic, and a complete show of
Of course. Why would you? Yeah.
He's the perfect comedian, Jeff.
No, I mean, that doesn't make you perfect. I didn't say I was good at them. I just said yes.
Well, I didn't either. I'm just saying that you're a triple threat.
But the thing is, if you were doing a weekend and you were doing, say, 4 to 5 shows in a weekend, suppose like you're doing 2 on a Friday and say 3 on Saturday, because you could basically see a different show every time. It wouldn't be the exact same show.
It would depend on how much time each show is. If maybe a show is only 20 minutes, then fine, you give me, I could do 20 of those. But if you give a show that each show is the standard, hour and 15 to, 90-minute show, then, and to make it completely different all the time. See, I do a lot of stuff with the audience plays with me.
You do.
So there is no way you can replicate that. You know what I mean? You could set it up the same way, but it's always going to have a different closer, a different ending, a different, humor.
Well, you do that bit with the mask, and that mask is what the person gives you and what the audience gives you, right? So, I mean, and that's about 10 to 15 minutes of your act.
I have fun with that a little bit when you get somebody that you kind of catch off guard. I don't know when people say, "Are you putting a mask on them?" It's these little ventriloquists. It's like a half mask, and
but it changes the person's face completely. It's really funny.
But you got to make it funny. You know what I mean? So you are now able to talk for whoever you have up on the stage with you, and they're standing, and you just bullshit, and whatever's in your mind, you do in another voice. And hopefully it's funny. Last night I was up in Utica. I drove the whole thing last night for 5 hours. I drove because we had a corporate today, and then I wanted to do yours, right now. But up at there, the son, the boss, the owner of this huge place, up there. And the son, I bring the son up on stage to do that mask on his face.
See that right there, they're dying. You're killing at that point.
Yeah, but the kid, I didn't know that the child was 6'9". 6'9". I was up to his balls. Do you understand? It was horrible. And so I just, I put the mask on. I was all the way low. It looked like I was the puppet. You understand? And he was completely up there on the thing. And I tried to talk the father into, giving me a raise, to the son, all the things he was going to do. You know what I mean? He's going to do the lawn. He's going to paint the building. You know what I mean? But, it was very, very.
How much of what you do is improv and how much of it is scripted?
I guess it's half and half. You know what I mean? I set it up. I rather just wing it on a lot. That's what makes it fun for all of us. When you can just take a show and just see where it goes. And
Sean doesn't do that. Sean is scripted from opening to close.
Even my crowd work is scripted.
Sean goes up. He actually has plants in the crowd.
I do. I'm like, ooh, fat guy. I can talk about that. Ooh, black dude. I can do that. Ooh, Chinese girl. There's this joke. That's what I do.
My God. Well, then we
I've
gotta.
heard him do the
gotta
same Aquafina joke over and over again.
I know.
what did I learn about this? I know who to get in the audience when I book you. You know what I mean? I'm gonna bring a Chinese girl, you know what I mean? And get a fat guy, and just have them all in the audience.
Now, let me ask you, how important is music to your shows?
No, see, I really do. I know, like you say in this, it was really hard in the beginning to put a show like mine into the comedy clubs. And I was always trying to get more money out of them. I went around 2 years around all to the comedy clubs, bringing a magician around with me called by the name Mike Tricks.
I've heard that name before.
He's won a couple of magic awards and stuff. He works down in Florida now, down by the Keys, and he just got his house down there, and he just works, old school. That's how I met him up in Boston. I was doing a club, and I walked down the block, and there's this kid getting all into it with magic and rock and roll. And he's got tattoos, and after the show, I'm watching, and I go, guy, what are you gonna do with all this? This stuff. Where you going with it? Like, he goes, someday I'm gonna be on a stage and do my magic. And I just said to him, because I started on the street. I said, do you know what? That day's tomorrow. Tomorrow, get 6 minutes together, 2 songs, and put the magic to it. You don't even have to talk. Just get it together. Do some of this shit. And that's how he started going from the other thing. But he was already a magician, like a street magician. You know what I mean? And then he started doing the stage and stuff like that. We went on the road for, almost 3 years. But there's no money in the comedy clubs. You couldn't get any money out of nobody. I never thought of. I was spooked. I was scared to go to theaters.
So where do you go when you first start? Like for a comedian, where you're going to open mics, you're doing bar shows, you're trying to get guest spots and stuff like that. When you're a ventriloquist magician, how do you get started in that? How do you get stage time?
I don't know how to answer that because you asked 3 questions. Like he said, how do you get started in that?
How do you get? Okay, let's break it down.
Okay.
How does somebody, okay, doing what you do, how do they get stage time to perfect their act?
Well, just as a ventriloquist, if that's what you want to do, be a ventriloquist, you have to decide why you want to be a ventriloquist. What's the goal? Is it to teach children? Is it for religious reasons? Or is it to be a fucking asshole like me and go do comedy clubs? I picked the asshole. I went, got the puppets, and went on stage, but I did it because it let out.
That's not what I asked, John. I asked, how do you, okay, I'm not asking you why you would do it. I'm asking you, how do you go about it? Like, where do you go to, like, okay, so now you made the decision. You want to be the guy in the clubs. Where do you go to start to perfect your act?
First of all, get a gun because you're going to want to shoot yourself many times. But if you get through that part, my thing would do the same way you do it as a comedian. You go up the ladder. There's a ventriloquist convention, and it's only once a year. It is done in Kentucky, and I'm going to tell you, you want to see weird. You go to the door. I got to call.
There must be a lot of pussy at that convention.
lot of wood pussy.
I could
That's
just
the greatest fucking thing Jeff's ever said.
I could just imagine the chicks that are hanging around this fucking crew.
Fucking lost it.
Let me tell you, I pulled up over there, and they all come out with the puppet. Hello, say hello to Joey. Say hello to Tommy. Tommy, say hello. But it was, and there's a lot. There's like 50, 60. It's like a bad movie.
It's like an Elvis convention.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's pretty bad too.
Yeah, a whole bunch of guys walking in, into the hotel as the doorman's holding the door. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Nothing like a 6'9" black Elvis, right?
I mean,
thank you very much, man.
Don't do that again. Oh boy,
God, man. So you're at the convention. and there's all these. Oh my god!
Okay, let's
I
go
could,
for the good
could you
spot.
imagine how if you were really, really like if you took like 3 edibles and now you're walking around that convention floor, how you would be bugging out?
I'd freak out. Yeah, I would freak out a little bit. Because
In
first of all,
between
I
the,
hate midgets, number one. I'm not a fan of like actual living, breathing little midgets. I can't take them. So like if I saw like a wooden one, it would really freak me the fuck out.
Oh, I didn't know that. We got to
Yeah.
try that.
Mhm.
Come on, because once a year, guys, Kentucky.
So like can
Oh,
regular comics just go there too?
yeah, no, I get you in. I
I
get you
think I want to
in.
go.
Jeff, I think I will fucking want to go too. We're gonna go
Yeah.
live
Wait,
from this next year.
okay, wait a minute. There's a couple of clubs that are around there that I will find out in case you wanted to just to make it a fun. Let me go find out first what those other clubs, because that's what I did. When I was over there, and this comedy stuff. But maybe you don't want to come to rank on them so much. You will see things behind the scenes of what ventriloquism is all about.
Of course.
You're
Yeah,
going to
this is
see
not to make
another
fun of
whole.
anybody. This is to like really.
But the thing is, it's just think about it. Just picture a convention floor, a ventriloquist, and guys throwing their voice and having every type of imaginable puppet.
No,
You
those
don't think that is like
those
that
are
would
the
bug you out?
Petri dish. It's a petri dish of mental illness.
yeah,
That's what
yeah,
that expo center is.
yes, yes, yes. And what's really wild is those aren't the people in the booths are not the crazy people. It's the ventriloquist, us that are crazy, but those are the people that make the puppets. You wanted to meet the people that make them, and they're all different artists and what they cost and what they are. Like you could get a puppet, being honest, made of you. Like if you wanted a puppet, like I mean, I think that's funny as shit. You go on and you got a guy that looks just like you, on the stage
Yeah, but
doing.
then you would have to be able to do the act and be able to throw your voice and manipulate the puppet, and that's not easy. Do you think anyone could learn how to throw the voice?
I think anyone, as long as if you're really into it. I mean, if you're really into it, I mean, I would show anybody. Are you kidding me? Do you know how many comedians? I'm not even going to tell you how many thought, oh, I want to be a ventriloquist. That's the only reason why you're funny is because you got the puppets and stuff. I go, you think you could do it? I would give them one of my puppets. I go, don't spend the money. Don't spend the money on all this. Pick one of the puppets that you think is your character. I got fucking 54 of them here. You understand? So go look and then borrow it. See if this is you really want to go and be a ventriloquist, or you want to put it in your act. Maybe, in the comedy, you just want to do 10 minutes. No sense going through this. You're going to put yourself through craziness. See if you really.
Have you ever considered like a ventriloquist school?
There is. There is. There is a school. I don't know.
Where is it?
They have one in Florida, and there's one that is the museum, and that's in Kentucky. Your boy, we were just
Okay, now
talking about.
suppose you couldn't
Ottawa
just like,
George is one of the original puppets David Copperfield have, and the other one
that's right.
is in the museum.
Now
Mhm.
suppose you couldn't commute to Kentucky. Okay, like is there a comedy club you could associate yourself with to maybe like run like a ventriloquist school? Suppose like maybe you did it with like Bananas or Uncle Vinny's or one of the clubs like
No,
that.
I don't think anybody would want to. I don't think there's a market for that. I don't know. I can't answer that. I don't think so. Why to go throw your? I mean, I don't see that. And then it's a lot of money. Those puppets on something that you just want to try as a whim. You know what I mean? I don't see that. I don't see it.
Like on a low scale, what could a puppet cost? If you didn't have to get a
Oh
custom made
no!
one,
If
you
you
just pick the one
get
or use puppet.
$50.
That's not that much of an
Yes, you
investment.
could look on the line. They got those little, they look like they're sponge-like puppets, like a standard. Here's a fireman. Here's a weird woman. You know what I mean? You could get any of them. You
Well,
know,
you put some thoughts into my head. Like this, look, this act that I'm doing now, it's not getting me very far. I may have to start thinking about maybe bringing a puppet on stage, a
are you,
Jeffrey Paul puppet.
buddy?
You can barely talk English as a normal human being without stuttering and stumbling all over yourself. You think you're going to be able to put a fucking puppet on there and not have your mouth move? Are you
Not
out of
only
your mind?
not only will I do that, my puppet will speak perfect, proper English. He'll be
Yeah, try one
yes,
more time, dopey.
yes. He'll have a little bit of like a you know. Let me see if I can do it a little bit. I'll have like
Let's do it. Okay, let's
yeah,
try it.
okay, okay. Here's my puppet. Okay, here he is. Okay, it's like hey, how you doing, Jeff Hand? "Oh, doing pretty good there, Jeff. It's not bad.
okay? I
Yeah,
think you got to know. Maybe
pretty
if you
good.
take your hand,
Not doing
make it like
bad.
a whole,
I'm doing
make
pretty
your hand
good.
like
I was
this.
like, hey, Gemini, how you doing? You pretty good? This?
Yeah, there you go. That's how you
Yeah,
do it.
yeah, I'm good
Yeah,
at that. Yeah,
you
I wasn't high
puppet.
enough
Yeah.
at the beginning, and now I'm too high.
I,
I'm laughing at Jeff's shit. Has this ever happened? This is episode 124.
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Nice.
you have to be a certain amount of high to appreciate my humor. Um, so it is a music show. It is a music show.
Yes.
Okay. I know you're a big music guy, aren't you, John?
I am and I'm not, my friends. I add music because music tells a story, and it's nice when visually I can present that story through magic. Floating the rose, some of this shit, and it's nice, and it's just it's an illusion that come in. But when you can sit there and put a little bit of a flame and just blow the flame out, and then right there is a rose. How nice and awesome is that? Or a bird, you know what I mean? That comes out.
I see with music sometimes it kind of really like gives you the personality of who the act you're going to see is. Like you'll have your rock and roll, uh, magician like Chris Angel, and then then you'll have like you see a lot of these guys. I love on the Penn and Teller show. They'll have music, and sometimes it'll be like this very like easy, cool, smooth music, and then sometimes it'll be like you can have like a little bit of hip hop personality in it. What kind of music do you use in your act?
I love jazzy blues, where you don't even have to have words, but you feel the emotion through the very chords being played. When it goes up, you can feel it. It's sometimes kind of cool if you really want to break your balls down, is listen to some of the classicals, the opera, without the words, just the music. When they have the wars, the fight scenes, even the cartoons. If you take out all of the lyrics and the voices and just listen to the music without the words, that's what I like doing magic to. That music.
It's so funny that you mentioned that. So we just did an episode on another show they do called Dustin's Vinyl, and on that show we were breaking down different type of theme songs. And when you listen to like the theme songs of cartoons and sitcoms of the early of the 1970s, 1980s, the music was so intricate. Like when you listen to like some of those cartoons, that big band, like listen to like the theme of the Pink Panther and
Barney
just
Miller.
listen, right? But just listen to like I'm just thinking the Pink Panther because there was a song that we kind of we delve into, and you just listen to the drum rolls and the cymbal crashes on it, and it's so jazzy and
That
so
that
bluesy. It's
that
so
is really
cool.
that was the first song I ever used in magic, was the Pink Panther song. And I
It's
thought
amazing. Henry Mancini.
uh, uh, Carol Burnett did it, where she had the full orchestra playing the Pink Panther thing in a jazzy style, and had different Pink Panthers all trying to dance with her. Like
That's so great.
it was so awesome, that and I from that moment on, I wanted to do magic to that music, whatever.
I'm trying to remember the Bonnie Miller theme song.
Started off with the bass line, doom, doo doo doom, doo doo doom, and then it busted into the real
Oh yeah.
with the
It did have
guitar
like
with the
a little clarinet going.
yeah, and then it busted into the full big band towards the end of the credits.
Yeah, so they really like took pride in like how this music really just kind of like set the tempo of what this show was. Like
Like
one of the things that
Miami Vice.
Miami
Miami
Vice, yeah,
Vice. Like
very
how
very
use
cool.
that music just as an
Jan
opener
Hammer.
walking on the stage.
There
Yeah.
was Jan Hammer who had done an album previously with Jeff Beck, and he was a very noted jazz
Like
keyboardist,
Jeff
and he
Beck.
really brought that
What's the awesome song Jeff Beck has? That one with that's well known.
well, probably his most well-known stuff was the stuff that he collaborated with. Like I think his version of "People Get Ready" with Rod Stewart is a classic, and his guitar playing on that is just insane. But he really was more of like an instrumentalist. And if you listen to his like an album like "Blow by Blow," I mean, it's really good. If you listen to a song like "Freeway Jam," where you could feel like the panic and the hecticness of being on a highway, all through the guitar and the way he kind of played, But I mean, when you look at something like Jan Hammer doing Miami Vice, like you mentioned, it really captured, the atmosphere of what this show is about and who the characters are through music.
But
Yeah, look at the theme from Beverly Hills Cop 2. The Harold Faltermeyer did Axel F.
Great one.
Same vibe, right?
Yeah.
I'm so amazed that you are stating all these songs that I thought I was being pretty creative when I used them for my magic. Now I know
It is. It is. I mean, because
but
you're setting a mood with it, and especially if you're going to pick something like Pink Panther, everybody knows it.
right. But I did 12 lit cigarettes. I won an award. 12 lit into 2 pipes into a cigar. And but I would throw, do street stuff. Once they were called tanks, cigarette tanks, and you could put 3 in a tank, and you would light them before the show, and you stick it in the tank, and it would keep them lit. There was aired out, but man, you had to move around a lot, or you saw the smoke would be coming out of you. You know what I mean? But and then you'd make a steal. You understand? Like you would sit down, take a cigarette, throw it down. As soon as the eye's there, look what I'm doing. I'm going in here. So I would throw it down, bang, there's your eye, and I would pull another cigarette out. You understand?
All that sleight of hand stuff, right?
It was pretty awesome, but people would look and they were all lit. 12, 12 fucking cigarettes coming out. But
Yeah, I love that stuff. I can watch that stuff all day, man. And especially like to go to a show like that, oh, it's such a fun night out. Hey, John, we got to wrap this up. So tell our audience where they can find you, what you got going on.
I have one person that will tell you that, and that will be at any time. Hey, you're going to be on the radio with me, 101 point.
Yeah, I'll be there on Wednesday. And hey, there we go. A signature dove.
Okay. Just Gemini comedy.com. I guess that would be the best way to say hello and and say hello to all the little friends that I have.
And I gotta tell you, I don't think I know another comic locally who works more than you do.
No, Peasy. Johnny.
You're always working, which is a great sign.
Hey, and all kidding aside, man, thank you very much for having me.
Yes, it was actually a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun today. We love busting each other's chops. And you're a good sport too, which is also makes things a lot easier. I mean, you're definitely fucking touched, but this was a great episode.
Sure. Hey, you guys are working together?
No, we just worked together a few months ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Listen, John. I will see you on Wednesday. And listen, for audience, you want to listen to us live, 101.5 on Wednesdays. John and I are on with Steve Travelese. And Adam, get these episodes out early so we can kind of promote this stuff. And Sean and I have a pretty big fundraiser that we're hoping to really raise a lot of money for, the Joe
Yes.
Y Foundation, and that'll be on May 20th at Paradise Island.
Yep.
You know,
And we're going
get-
to we're also
get your
going to have
tickets.
another I can't wait to do this one. I really I love giving back to charity and to help others as well. We're going to have a very big fundraiser that I'm going to hopefully get you on with me. One of my obviously when I probably one of my best friends passed away very suddenly, and he was only 4 days younger than me, 46 years old. So we've already been in contact with a pretty big venue, so we're going to put it together a show to start a scholarship fund for his kids, and that'll be in July. So once I get the date locked down, I'm going to plug that really hard to sell that place out. So you'll be on the show with me, and then you know, otherwise we're going to keep grinding the rest of the summer.
Okay, all right, guys, catch us next week. We're getting a view now of the Gemini headquarters. Look at that. That's a pretty cool setup you got, my friend. Look at that. Oh, jokes at Yokes.
Yes, I've done that room myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, the bistro. The bistro. Oh man, that place is, I don't think that place is there anymore.
No, it's not gangsters. They fucking shot somebody in front.
Yeah.
I gotta go. I'll see you later.
That's now the Highland Diner. All right, guys, we'll have another exciting show like this next week for you. John, thank you so much. I'll see you Wednesday. John, I'll talk to you during the week. Everybody, please continue to subscribe. Thank you so much.